Shuai Wang, the owner of Jackrabbit Philly and King Barbecue, is now competing against 14 other chefs from around the country on Bravo's hit show, Top Chef. Today, I talk one-on-one with Shuai about being in this particular competition for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Chef Shuai Wang, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Needless to say, you are the founder, co-owner of Jackrabbit Philly, and of course, King Barbecue in North Charleston.
Yes,
And
sir.
of course, now also you are a South Carolina Chef Ambassador and a contestant for Top Chef.
Yes,
So
sir.
let me ask you, Chef, who are you these days?
Who am I these days? Wow, hardcore question. I'm just still me, man. Still just working hard, trying to pay bills, and having fun cooking. I'm trying not let any of this to get me too nervous or go to my head.
Yeah, you mentioned cooking, Chef. What is the art of cooking from your perspective?
For me, I think it's constantly growing as a chef. I like to say that you shouldn't ever stop learning, and there's just so much knowledge out there for different cuisines. Chinese cuisine has over 500 years of history in it, so I'm just on the tippy top of like trying to figure out all my culture, and plus all these different other cuisines that I'm surrounded by. I'm just constantly learning, and I just feel like food is always evolving and always so there's always something new to cook. So I just think yes, cooking is just all about like exploring and trying to figure out new things.
What new things do you want to explore with your particular culture and your background in cooking?
I really want to dig deeper into just the hardcore history of cooking of for Chinese cooking. I mean, there's so much technique behind preserving and dough work and just again there's just so much to learn. I'm constantly reading about new things or just classic things or historical things that are Chinese food related, and that's my goal this year, to kind of learn more about my heritage.
And let me piggyback on that a little bit, Chef, because obviously you just mentioned about learning more about your culture. So, with those historic foods, when it comes to the Chinese culture, which ones do you hope to put an innovative twist on in the kitchen?
That's one of the hardest parts, right? You're trying to really showcase your culture and the history, do it justice, do it honor, but also you don't want to bastardize it, right? So I think a lot of the techniques is mainly where you want to really hone down, right? Either is making noodles or is making scallion pancakes or all these different bings, or it's just the art of like preserving vegetables in China. My main goal is trying to preserve these techniques and but then like kind of have my twist on these dishes.
Oh wow! And when you think about the culture, what other dishes do you want to personally taste?
Oh wow, there's so much. I grew up in Beijing,
Yeah.
China, so there's a total different cuisine outside of Beijing, right? Just like parts of America, like the South has their certain type of cuisine, and you go up north, there's different, and you go to west, there's also different. So there's a bunch of different regions of China that I haven't even explored yet. Either it's Xi'an region or Sichuan or Chengdu. There's just so much to learn. I think I want to like kind of explore outside of Beijing cooking or the food that I grew up on. Trying to learn more about all of China's kind of food.
What is the biggest difference about that cuisine in China from when you were growing up to right now?
Chinese food has evolved so much. I was born in '87 in Beijing, and I was on our family was on the end of um, still being on rations, right? So food was scarce, so you only had so many varieties of food that you could eat, or from groceries and all that. But my grandma always made sure that everybody in the family all had a full stomach. No one was ever hungry. And yeah, now with how evolved it is now with like all this tourism and out of town people food in China in general has just grown so much. You know, a lot of more Western influences now as well. And you know, coming to the States, Chinese food is very different, right? It's American Chinese food versus Chinese American food, and so with a melting pot that is American cuisine, that I'm able to take Chinese food and incorporate a lot of different techniques, right? Like we have Chinese food with Southern influences. Right now, we have Chinese food with like Indian influences and Spanish influences. So, yeah, like I said, you know, we don't put limitations on cuisines or borders, so we just kind of keep exploring.
Wow. And speaking of exploring, obviously, Chef, you've been named one of the South Carolina Chef Ambassador.
Yes,
So
sir.
tell me, what do you want to explore from that angle?
Well, you know, it's a great honor to be a part of a chef ambassadorship, and you know, we support as local as possible. You know, and we buy at Jackrabbit Philly. We buy all local produce, dairy, proteins, eggs, you name it. We buy local. You know, there's still so much. There's tons of farmers out here still in South Carolina that I still haven't met. I don't know. I love the South Carolina produce, and it's just yeah. This I feel like I want to incorporate more Southern ingredients into our menu, have it be way more local and more sustainable, and also yes, it's just a really great way to eat.
Okay, absolutely. What seven ingredients do you and your team, or what seven ingredients that is, are you and your team are actually keeping an eye on from a trending perspective?
Uh, you know, we're not we're not trendy at all. You know, we just go, we just vibe with whatever's
Mm,
available. You know, that's why our menu is constantly changing.
yeah,
um, Whatever. I feel like every year kind of forget like oh now it's radish season
yeah.
that's coming or it's apple season,
Mm.
and then you know tomato season all coming up, and every year I get uh s- um just like wonderfully surprised by these produce coming back, just because I kind of forget about it, right? So like again, like radishes and turnips are coming in right now, and I was like, oh, I remember how much I love radishes and turnips in our dishes. And the peach season is coming up too, and corn. So
Oh
it's like
yes.
it's just kind of like whatever the farmer feels like growing, you know. And I try to reach out to some local farmers, and I've been working with some people to try to grow some things that I kind of want to incorporate into our dishes as well. So like chrysanthemum greens, which is one of my favorite greens. But yeah, like I don't know, I always just vibe with the season.
And speaking of season, of course, you are a contestant that is on Top Chef, which is being filmed in Canada for this particular season.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted to know this because obviously, as I mentioned earlier, you are the co-owner of Rabbit Philly and of course King Barbecue. You're also now the South Carolina Chef Ambassador and
Yes, sir.
contestant. So, what got you from all of these accolades and all of these careers to now being a contestant on Top Chef?
You know, Top Chef is an amazing, amazing competition. You know, I personally don't watch a lot of competition shows because I'm not a competitive person. I'm one of those people who thinks everyone should get a trophy for participating, right? So, um, but you know, Top Chef reached out for me to join the show. I was absolutely honored, and I started watching some seasons prior to season 22, to just kind of get you know the vibe of it and see what the competitions are like. And I was honestly very very nervous, you know, prior to going in, just because yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I'm not competitive, so it's like, oh, all these amazing, amazing chefs are going to be competing with me. How good am I actually? But yeah, like it's been a crazy journey. Like it just kind of happened out of nowhere, and you know, I'm very glad that it did.
Yeah, and in fact, Chef, I know that you and 14 other chefs across the country will actually compete for $250,000 on the season 22 of this season, like I mentioned, which is being filmed right now in Canada. So, who is Shuai Wang as a contestant on Top Chef?
I can only be me. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how to be anyone else. I hope that comes through. In the season. I don't know. I like to be goofy. I like to have fun cooking, and I honestly just yeah, like that's I always stay just truly me.
Well, that is amazing. That really, really is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Chef Shuai Wang, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome.